In this exercise, we're going to build a very simple calculator using the case statement. So let's get started. We're going to call this program calc.rb. So we'll start off by prompting the user to enter two numbers, and then we'll store those numbers in variables. Now, before we go on, you might notice a problem here, and the problem is that getS stores its input as string, and we certainly don't want to store strings in number 1 and number 2. So for now, let's convert that to integer, the input, I mean. Now we're ready to prompt the user to enter an operation. The operator we do not have to convert. Now we're ready to call the case statement. However, before we do that, if you remember in the last exercise, we had to store a new line along with our computer name Watson. A way around that is to call a method called chomp, which we've seen before. I purposely left it out of the last exercise to see if you picked it up yourself. But now let's go ahead and explicitly use it. It makes our code easier to understand. Now we're ready for the case statement. So what we'll do is when the operator is the plus sign, then we'll do addition. And then so on and so forth for subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now we're finished, so we can end the case statement, and we're ready to run the program. So we'll save it, go back to our command prompt, and let's run. So addition works fine. Subtraction works. Multiplication works. And division doesn't quite work. Clearly, this is because we're using integer values. So let's go back to our program. Let's change integer to float here and there. Now let's save it, clear the screen, and let's try that again. Oops, we have a float G in there. Let's fix that. There it is right there. Easy to make typos, and typos are easy to fix. Try it again. And we get the correct answer. Let's run it one more time. Maybe a bit more precision than we need, and we could work on formatting that number to round it off. But you get the idea. So let's go back and look at the code one more time. So you see how our case statement works. We present it with a value, and then we have a series of whens where we execute a body of code when we have a match, or when there's equality between the literal provided after the when and the value in the case clause, if you want to call it that. So that wraps up this exercise and wraps up this chapter on decision structures in Ruby.